Mm-hmm. I want to talk about coaching. Particularly, you mentioned you watched Tiago, coaching, and can you give us one or two sort of takeaways that really blew your mind in his approach to coaching? Or one thing in particular?
Yeah, I'd say, because, I asked him a lot of questions, and we would be drilling. He would show us something, and it was very specific. Like, he'd show us, say, an X-guard sweep, and I would be having trouble doing it this way. And I would show him. He'd be like, show me. And I'd do the move, and it would be, I know it was different than what he showed, but he would just help me through it the way that I was doing it, and just say, well, if you're going to do it that way, just kind of keep going this way, you know? So he kind of pushed me in the direction that I was going, because it wasn't wrong. It wasn't what he was showing exactly, but that's how he coached everybody. Like, we were all working on the same thing because he showed something, but he would help people with whatever problems they were having. And that kind of, it didn't really blow my mind, but it was really cool to see a high level instructor teach that way. Because you hear a lot of, unfortunately in the community, there's lots of people that say, do this, and you got to do it this way, and got to do it this way, and you can't have a water break until I fucking say so, and can't go to the bathroom unless we have a break, whatever.
Really?
I've actually had people come to my school, and just people I've talked to as well at specific gyms, that there are still jiu-jitsu gyms that exist where you can't go take a piss if the master doesn't tell you can go.
Is this the competition team, like that crew of folks, that sort of code, or is it just Monsieur, Madame, tout le monde, like everybody sort of?
I think it's everybody. It's like how they run their gym.
Okay, bizarre.
I think that's when I was a kid, that made sense because we're all trying to learn discipline, and we go to the bathroom to have breaks and like just stay in the bathroom and twiddle our thumbs or whatever.
Right.
But like as adults, I'm going to the fucking bathroom. If I need to go to the bathroom, if I need a drink of water, I should be allowed to just drink water whenever I want.
Absolutely.
It's silly to me that stuff still exists and adults pay for it.
That is very bizarre.
Well, some people, I guess, need it, but
sure. I mean, it's what you said before. There's a place for everybody, and I think people get what they need to get. What's the role of a coach, in your opinion, in jiu-jitsu, and what do you see in terms of coaching? What do you see your responsibility in regards to your students and their development of jiu-jitsu?
I don't know. That's a big question. I feel like
you don't have to answer it. No, just kidding. I mean, it is a big question. It's big, but and there's a reason why I asked. But.
Yeah, I guess the responsibility of a coach, like in my eyes, is to give people the tools they need to be successful, right? And that's the most simple way that I can put it. But as a coach, you should be giving people the tools they need to be successful. So, that's the way that I would put that. I'm here to show you the way.
Right.
I'm here to teach you jiu-jitsu. I'm here to show you a certain system that's going to help you win the next tournament, or potentially keep you safe from some kind of attacker or something.
Right.
I think with jiu-jitsu, you have to have, like, my approach is for people to be safe out there, right?
Okay.
Yes, we're about the sport here and competition, but at the end of the day, I want people to be able to keep themselves safe. Like, I still have that old school Hickson Gracie kind of mentality, where it's a real fight. Sure. It's a real fighting art. And absolutely. Self-defense is like my main thing at the end of the day. Like, the competitions don't matter to me that much. They're fun, and obviously, like, we want to win them, and it helps our gym, and it gives people opportunities. But the majority of people that train don't compete. Right. So I want people to have the skills to be successful, and to be successful in a street situation, you need a certain set of skills. You need to, know to keep your hands up. You need to know how to keep distance and stuff like that. And also, I think a role of a coach is to kind of help motivate a little bit. Right. I don't think motivation's like a thing I'm there to do all the time, because I want people to train every day. Right. Of the week, all the time, every class. Like I want people to do that. I don't expect it of anybody. Maybe my competitors, but I think to keep people motivated, keep people safe at the end of the day. Yeah, I don't know if that answers the question.
Absolutely, it does. My follow-up for you is, what's the sort of feedback you've gotten from friends, or from students, from people in the community in regards to your approach to coaching and their experience here at the gym? And I ask that because I always hear the role of the coach, I think, is not to state the obvious, is so important, right? Yeah. For the morale of the dojo, mm-hmm. for this might sound a little cheesy too. It's inspiration too, man, because people come, you don't know what they're dealing with in their lives. Yeah. They come here, different. People train. Of course they train. People train to feel good. People train for mental health too. Yeah. They're stressed out. They're this, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they come here, and it's you hear this in a lot of the literature, whatever, the podcasts, this, that, or it's almost like it's a community. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And people develop friendships here and so on. But I guess where I'm going with this is I don't know, because I just lost my question. What the hell was I talking about?
I think you were asking me like what kind of feedback I get.
Yes, thank you. You're listening. Okay.
I get a lot of feedback as a coach. Some of it's like, a lot of it's good. Some of it's negative, like not negative, but like constructive criticism.
That's always good.
And like, I'm not a huge fan of it, because like, I kind of hate hearing my faults, like most people probably do.
Right.
But I am at the end of the day, I'm very grateful to hear any kind of negative stuff that people have to say.
The fact people sorry to interrupt. The fact people are willing to share that constructive criticism means you are creating an environment that's safe enough where people don't fear retribution or iteration. Yeah. You know what I mean? They want to see the best out of you as a coach, the best for the gym. I think creating that sort of environment is a big thumbs up.
I'm really lucky with the students that I have, because, we're all, I am the coach or whatever, but I'm a human too. I'm not this fucking God figure or whatever. I'm just a dude.
Only in Milan is your God.
I'm at the end of the day, I'm just a dude, and people want to, like, it's cool. The gym here, people want to see everybody get better, and we do have a really good community. So like I said, I'm super grateful to have my students give me that kind of constructive criticism. I don't take it very well most of the time, like in the moment. But afterwards, I do think about it, and I do take it into consideration, and I do like use it to get better. Right. I always do.
Is it the format? Is it the tone? Is it the medium? Is it like?
Sometimes I'm not a very good listener. Okay. Sometimes like I will. Some people will have a problem that they're dealing with in jiu-jitsu, and I already kind of made up my mind what the problem is, and then I'll answer them, but it won't be the answer that they were looking for. So I'm answering the problem that I made up instead. Mm-hmm. I've gotten away from that, thankfully, a lot. But I think that's probably the only real thing that people would like say negatively about my teaching, is that sometimes I don't listen very well. But that's also because I got like crazy ADHD, and I'm trying to help like 15 different groups in the room. So I'm like trying to move on because I had, they asked me in the corner, Professor, well, I'm over here right now. And then this person asked me beside them. And then I have these two guys looking at what I'm doing while I'm answering a question. So it gets really, like, I get in my head, or not in my head, but I get overwhelmed. So it's really hard to kind of stay focused sometimes. And so I kind of just make a focus, and then I just move on, because I'm trying to get through, there's only so much time that I have with everybody in a class setting. So I try to get it all out as quick as possible sometimes. But over the years, I've definitely gotten better with that. And I think I'm at a place now where my listening skills are way better than they ever have been. And I don't really get that same, this was years ago that I was getting, this is mostly Emra telling me that I don't listen. So it's hard, because like my partner is also one of my, most competitive students as well. So I kind of get the boyfriend girlfriend stuff while I'm teaching and stuff too. So that can be hard to juggle sometimes, but she's wonderful, and she's only ever looked out for my best interest, and she just wants to see me be a good coach, because we own this together. So if I'm a good coach, it helps her too, and we're trying to put food on the table for our family. Right. And she's only ever trying to see me do good. So everything she says, I may not like hear it at that time, but I always consider it after the fact for sure, and I take it into strong consideration, because she's never wrong. she's never really been wrong.
How would you describe her as a jiu-jitsu guy, as a competitor? What are her strengths? What would you say?
Man, Emra's one of the hardest working people in the room. Like, ever since I met her, we were friends for a long time before we were ever like a couple or whatever. But she's one of the most consistent students. She always knew that she was gonna like suck at it first. She already knew what it took to get good at something, because she's already proficient in violin, and she can play a piano, and she can play guitar, and she knows how to sing.
Wow.
And she's done university, and she's a mom, and like, she's already good at everything. Oh, and she's an elite soccer player. So she already knew what it was like to suck at things and how the journey goes. Right. So as for coachability, she had somebody teach her violin. She had somebody teach her how to be a good soccer player. So she knew already how to be coached. So her coming into the gym, showing up twice a day, every day for the first few years, she got good fairly quickly. And she's always been a good example to any new person coming in, because whether it's a man or a woman or whatever, she's always been there. She shows up every day. Right. And she shows people that regardless of weight and size, technique basically rules the world. Right. And she shows that every day to our longtime students and our beginners, the people that just came in off the street. Everybody's kind of in awe what she can do kind of in the gym, and she competes all the time too, and she does really awesome locally. So she's a very prominent figure at Ottawa Jiu-Jitsu, and I mean for good reason.
I noticed, going back to the topic of the gym culture, one thing I noticed is that people, when they come in here, they say hello to each other. Yeah. What's up with that? I mean, I think it's brilliant. I think it's a very welcoming thing. I've never seen that. You know what I mean? Like it's, and I say this because I've been to many other gyms and and every place has its own sort of culture. But and I'm not saying when I come in I say hello to everybody, because I'm in my own world. But I look at some of these other folks that are training, and there's a kind of a sense of community and so on. What elaborate on that.
I back in Nova Scotia, this is where I got this from. Was I was training.
It's an East Coast thing.
It's an East Coast thing. That's where it originated for me, but I also got to see it play out in other parts of the world too. But it first Scott at Fit Plus in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. When I started training at his gym, he said that, you know, when you come out from the changing room, make sure you go say what's up to everybody that's already on the mats. So I'd come out and, you know, there's 5 people out there. I go, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? To every single person that comes out, or every single person that's already on the mat. And then the next person does it too. So I saw that, and then I kept it. Like, it's something that I do at every gym that I go to.
You do this everywhere?
Everywhere I go. So anytime I come out of the change room at a new gym, I'm at a seminar, you know, there could be 50 people, 60 people in the room. I go say hi to every single person when I come out of the change room and I'm tying my belt or whatever. And I think it's important to do because it's sportsmanship. It's these are the people that you're kind of trusting your life with. You know, you get caught in a submission, they don't have to let it go. You know, they could pop your ankle, they could, you know, heel hook you and take your ligaments home with you. And so I think it's a really important thing to do as a jiu-jitsu person. And I implemented it here at my gym, and it's really hard for some people to do because people are like, you know, afraid to talk to people, and
it's Ottawa,
they're just meeting.
It's Ottawa.
Yeah, they're meeting people for the first time, and it's like, you want me to go say what's up to everybody? Yeah, go say what's up to everybody. This way you get a chance to introduce yourself, they'll introduce you, and the cool thing is I saw this play out at a lot of different gyms. It wasn't everybody that did it, but like one that sticks out to me is Bernardo Faria, BJJ Fanatics. And he was, when I was training at Marcelo Garcia's, he was teaching all the beginner classes. So I was going to all the beginner classes that were taught by a 4-time world champion. And every time Bernardo came out of the change room with his gi on, he would say, "Oh, see, brother, what's up? What's, bro? Hello, what's going on?" You know, every single person at Marcelo's gym, there's like 70 people, all waiting for the next class. And he said what's up to every single person. And I just thought, and Marcelo did the same thing. So he, if there was time, if he was about to teach a class, he would say what's up to every single person. And I just thought that was so cool to see, because like I started doing it, you know, 10 years, whatever, previous to that. And it's something that I always encourage my students to do here and when they go somewhere else, because we have a lot of people who go train at other gyms because they travel for work or they're, you know, they're going to other gyms. I hope that my students are always the ones to do that. I you know, when I go to a seminar, I do that. When my students go to seminars, they do the same thing, and I feel like everybody should do that. It's jiu-jitsu, man. These are the people that, like I said, you're trusting your life with them. So might as well be good with everybody before you start training.
Yeah, no, I for sure, and I think it's brilliant in many ways, because especially for those who may have never stepped into a gym.
Yeah,
you know. You know, who knows what they're thinking before they're coming in. Yeah. Maybe they're afraid, maybe they're, you know what I'm saying? Like that welcoming sort of act on many levels, on the bare sort of fundamental of customer service, let's just say, is brilliant. When you walk into a coffee shop, someone says hello, right? Yeah. But in the gym, it's different. Someone's welcoming you. You know, you've got higher rank folks with you know, black belts, etc., saying hello to a beginner, as you're describing for real. Like it's a very welcoming act, and I think it's small acts like that, I believe, go a long way.
Yeah, I think so too.
Especially in these sorts of environments, because people will have their own preconceived notions of what this sport is and what the culture
it can be
is.
Scary, man. Like,
you know,
a bunch of sweaty dudes.
Yeah, and making it
fighting each other.
That's right. Making it welcoming, you know, for women, you know, who may have never stepped into a martial arts gym. You know, all these things. It's it's important. I want to move on to the topic of competition.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Emra. She's a competitor out of this gym. Tell us about some of the other competitors here.
Who do we got? Like Emra, Jeffrey Anglade. He's a dude that started training with me when I was teaching down the street at N1, and he started competing like 3 or 4 weeks after he started training, and he's been pretty hard at it since he started. He had some breaks here and there for whatever reason, health stuff, or I think one time it was his earrings or a tooth or something, I don't remember, but just, you know, he had to take some time here and there in the last couple of years, but he started competing pretty much immediately, and he's become one of my best friends too because of all this, because, you know, we go on trips to Toronto and stuff like that, and he actually competed this weekend at SAU, and he got bronze in the gi, but he did no gi as well, and he pulled out the gold in the middleweight division in the intermediate. Yeah, he's a blue belt, so intermediate blue belt. It's a big division. It's really tough, and he hasn't got a gold since like last year, probably I feel like May last year.
Okay.
So it was a really awesome thing to see Jeffrey pull out the win this weekend, but he's done some super fights too. He did a super fight on the OS card, which was a few weekends ago, like a month ago maybe, where he was part of a 5-on-5 quintet. His match with the guy that he fought was super fun. Buddy was way bigger than him, and he threw him a couple times, and like it definitely seemed like a crowd favorite.
Nice.
Because he had the whole room kind of backing him up. But Jeffrey is one of those hardworking individuals that knew that he was going to suck at something, and he embraced the suck and he's dug deep and he's been able to, like I said, he came out on top this weekend in a really tough no-gi division, and where he's fought some people that have beaten him before, and he beat everybody this time.
Wow.
And yeah, like congrats Jeffrey. I'm super happy for him.
I've seen some of his highlight videos or whatever, and yeah, he almost seems stronger. When you look at him, I almost think he's stronger than what you know those people who are deceptive in the sense that, like, yeah, he looks strong, but I think he's even stronger than he looks.
He's hard to move,
very explosive,
he's
especially in the stand-up. Yeah.
Jeffrey, I get under Jeffrey.
How much does he weigh?
I think he's like 175, maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more. Depends on how many poutines he ate this week. But Jeffrey is deceptively strong and hard to move. Like I remember,
and explosive too.
Very explosive.
Has he played football or something?
No, he played basketball and he does bachata. So he's got the footwork.
There you go,
bro.
Does he do foot sweeps?
He's getting better at them.
Okay.
We're working on them. That's the secret plan, bro.
And foot sweeps in jiu-jitsu, man, like in stand up,
when they work, crazy. Bro, it's magic.
Yeah,
it's magic.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's getting really good at what he's doing. He's only a blue belt, so I can't wait to see him develop over the next few years. But yeah, and like he's just a blue belt, so this weekend was super big for him. Like I said, he got the gold at the SAU tournament, and what was I saying? Yeah, he's deceptively strong. I remember one time Jeffrey and I were rolling, and I was trying to sweep him. And it's something that I normally can do to anybody, kind of both feet on his hips, pushing him over. I tried to push him and I threw out my back.
Wow.
I couldn't like get up off the mat after I tried to sweep him because I couldn't move him. He's like a fucking statue.
It's deceptive, eh? In terms, so you were talking about quintet, like the quintet concept for us. By the way, I love that. I think it's a brilliant concept.
Super fun.
Let's talk about the tournament scene here in Ottawa because COVID is gone, whatever, and now tournaments are coming back on, and they've been coming back on for a while. Yeah. But it's great to see.
It's awesome.
Paint that picture of the Ottawa Jiu-Jitsu, like the ecosystem of competitions here in Ottawa for Jiu-Jitsu.
From what I'm seeing, I'm still technically an outsider, although I consider Ottawa my home now. But
why do you say that?
Well, this is my family's here. All my
sorry. I mean, why do you say you're an outsider?
Oh, I'm from Nova Scotia. I'm still.
But bro, how long have you been in Ottawa for?
On and off for 8 years.
Okay, I mean, folks, don't you think he's an Ottawa guy now?
Yeah, well, but even then, like I moved here in 2014, and in 2015 I was living in Europe, and then that same year I moved to the States. I was living in New York City.
Okay,
and
right.
When I moved back from New York, I was living in Montreal. Okay. And then after Montreal, I was living in Toronto, and then I came back in 2017. So, but I've been here pretty consistently since 2017. Yeah, I mean, I still consider myself an outsider because, like, I'm fucking 902 for life, like Woodbine Trailer Park, bro. Like, my roots are back home forever.
Wow.
Like I'm Nova Scotia. That's
what is it with Nova Scotians and this strong sense of connection to their province? Because out of all the people, and I mean, even folks from Newfoundland and so on, the East Coasters in general, maybe more so in Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, they have this strong sense. It's almost like, and I know this could go for another hour, but it's almost like home for them is that place, and they cannot fathom the idea, even within this country, of identifying as, I'm from Ontario. No, I'm from BC. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like Nova Scotians for life.
It's 902 for life, bro. Like, there's no place like it. I mean, I grew up, Woodbine was the hood. So I grew up, in a rough neighborhood, a lot of shit going on, like not good stuff, and a lot of my best friends in and out of prison system, and a lot of my family and stuff too. I've seen a lot of my friends get. I've seen a couple of my friends get murdered.
Wow.
I've seen. I've had friends die from drug use and all this stuff, and all that trauma, I guess, kind of keeps us together. Growing up broke like that, we only had each other, and I still talk to my best friends back home. Like every day, we work together. Like I don't live there, but we still work together somehow. And he owns a gym back home, Truro Jiu-Jitsu. So if you're in Truro, Nova Scotia, go train with Brad Sullivan. It's the only gym to train in Truro, Nova Scotia. But yeah, Brad Sullivan, one of my best friends. He's him and I have very similar pasts, and you can't break that. Like I trust this man with my life. I don't even have to talk to him for 2-3 years, and I know when I pick up the phone, it'd be like we never had any time apart.
Wow.
So home is home, and it'll always be that way. Like I haven't even been home in forever, and I know when I go back, it's gonna be huge. Like I have so much family back home. Like I come from a huge family, the Kelseys. My dad's last name is Keel, but his mother is a Kelsey, and so I come from this gigantic family back home. So like there's never gonna be a place like that for me. We got one of the biggest black settlements in Canada is in Nova Scotia, and I'm technically part of that. Like my dad's a black man, and my family is huge, and I go home and see. That's I can't wait to go home and see my family. It's been years. Yeah, we stay connected through the internet and stuff like that, but it's not the same. But it's that'll people out here aren't the same as Nova Scotia. It's a different breed out there, and that's I think that's why everybody kind of just reps Nova Scotia forever. And if you don't, then you don't belong anyway.
There you go. There you go. What in terms of but by the way, in terms of the Black Nova Scotian experience in Africville and all that, and in you have a Black identity. Obviously, your father's
I'm an
Black. Invisible minority. Yeah.
Well,
if you don't mind me asking, what does that mean in terms of to have that background? Because I don't know if many people know about Africville and first Black settlement. It's quite a big deal.
Africville's crazy. What they did to Africville is like unforgivable. They basically tried to get people out of there forever, and now it's like a public park, like a fucking dog park or something now. I remember the stories about them dumping fucking biohazard waste from the hospitals in the middle of their town. They tore down their only church in the middle of the night. Like, it was scheduled to get torn down, but it was like months later. But they tore it down in the middle of the night. Like, didn't even give anybody a chance to say goodbye. And
right.
And they don't, a lot of racism back home. I guess that's what happens when there's brown people around. But, being part of that community, it's weird because, like, I grew up, I didn't have to deal with the same things you would have had to deal with growing up. Like, I'm a 6'3" white dude, like I didn't have to deal with the same shit my dad had to deal with growing up.
And he was a martial artist too, right?
Yep. Yeah, he's a 3rd degree black belt in something called Weichi-Ru.
Okay.
Just means crazy old man.
How much of that influenced your passion? Okay, tell us about it.
My dad, he trained my whole life, basically. And I watched him, he worked at night. So he did a night shift from like 10 or 11 o'clock at night until 7 or 8 in the morning. So this was the schedule. I'd get home from school, he'd be waking up. And then he'd make supper for us, and then he'd go train. He'd leave and he'd go to Dave Hunt's karate back in the Bedford, Nova Scotia, and he'd go train for like 3 or 4 hours. Then he'd come home, make sure we were all right, and then he'd go to work. And that was every day. He didn't miss training ever. Like, I feel like even when he was sick, he was still going. And he that influenced me greatly because I train every day. Like, I'm on the mats every single day. I teach 1 or 2 classes a day, every single day. And if I didn't have him influencing me growing up in that way, then I probably wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't know. I mean, I love jiu-jitsu and stuff, but I don't know if I had grown up and he wasn't there doing that, then I'd probably be doing something else maybe. But that was another thing about having a big ass black family, was when me and my cousins hung out, because I got a million cousins, my cousin.
A million? No, how many would you say?
Oh, way too many.
That's amazing.
My cousin Doobie actually surprised me. He called me, he said, "Oh, what are you up to, cousin?" and whatever. And he said, "Oh, it sounds like you're teaching. So I'll talk to you later, all right? Just call me later." And he shows up at the gym. I didn't know he was in Nova Scotia. He shows up at the gym. He helps me, like, he's a contractor. He has a business back home, and he helped me, like, put the walls up in the gym, like, while he was here.
That's
I didn't
amazing.
have to do that, but when I go out with Doobie downtown, I remember we went out downtown.
Here in Ottawa?
No, in Nova Scotia, many years ago. This is to just give you perspective how many cousins I have. Pretty much every black person in the bar, he brought me over and introduced me to them, telling me that they were my cousin, and that I was their cousin. Oh, meet your cousin Brandon. This is your cousin. This is your cousin. This, and I felt like it was every fucking black person that was in the bar.
That's amazing.
I couldn't believe it, and it's like to the point too where, dating back in the day, if I was dating a black girl, I had to call my dad. I'd be like, "Dad, this girl's name is this. Her last name is this. And this is her dad's name. And this is her mom's name. Like, are we related? Can you please get back to me?" He'd be like, "I don't know. Let me call you uncle." And then he'd call me back. "Yeah, you're good to go."
There you go.
So yeah, I got a huge family. I'm not 100% sure, but my great-grandmother and great-grandfather, Joe and Pearl Kelsey, R.I.P. They had 12 or 15 kids.
Wow.
And then Joe's brother, Albert, had like 12 or 15 kids too. So that's the Kelseys on both sides. And then my dad's mother is a Kelsey. So that is my great aunts and uncles. So my dad's aunts and uncles. So that's right there. That's like 30 great aunts and uncles.
Damn.
Right?
That's insane.
And then you think about that, all their kids got kids, and now their kids have kids.
Wow.
So I got a big family. And what I was saying too is one of the biggest reasons why I think I love jiu-jitsu so much is because when we went over to like my Uncle Gregory's house, me and my cousin Jeremy and my cousin Jermaine and shit, we would wrestle. Like I'd be like the Undertaker, he'd be like Kane, and we would wrestle for like 3 or 4 hours at a time, just outside wrestling with each other nonstop. And I remember when I first tried Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I was like Kevin, because Kevin Tebow is one of the first guys I ever trained with, and I was like, Kevin, I'm gonna do this forever, because it felt like wrestling with my cousins in the yard, and that was like the most fun thing in the world to me. You know, I wish I could still do that. But before I moved out to Ottawa, I was doing jiu-jitsu, right? But we were going to Oak Lawn. It was like a national park type thing.
Okay.
We were going every weekend. And every weekend, more people were trying jiu-jitsu. Right. So before I left, I was wrestling with my cousins again. Wow. It was fucking awesome. Like, it was one of the best times of my life before I left.
Do you ever plan to move back?
I don't plan to move back. I do want to open a school there one day, or at least be part of one of the schools there one day. I'll be working with my buddy Brad forever, so maybe there'd be some kind of connection there sometime. But I'd love to have something in Nova Scotia, because first off, like all my people are from there, all my best friends and my family, and you know, it's beautiful there in the summer, so I'd love to be able to go spend some time out there and like have a spot. And but I don't know if I plan to ever like move back. Right. But I would like to be in a place where I'm financially just able to go whenever I want, because that'd be really cool, just to be able to go for a weekend and hang out. You know?
Could do like a Ontario versus Nova Scotia Jiu-Jitsu tournament.
Oh, that'd be so sick.
You know, like
I tried. I'm trying to get a Nova Scotia tournament going, actually, but the guy that runs the tournaments out there is being a dick, and he won't lend me his mats.
How come?
I don't know. Like,
is it one dude that runs
it's one dude that kind of owns the mats. Like,
wow.
What's wrong with you, Graham? Like, rent me your mats so I can run a tournament. Like, the guys out here at SAU are dope. Like, I work with them all the time. I used to help them set up their tournaments, and I support all of their stuff all the time, and this guy won't rent me his mats. I don't know. And like, I remember him as a kid. Like, I used to beat him up when he was like a little green belt. And now he won't rent me his mats. Not a big deal. I'm just fucking butthurt over it, but whatever.
Maybe you should drive a bunch of mats from Ottawa.
Well, that's what I don't want to do. You know, because I know people out here would rent me mats, but I don't want to drive them. Right. I don't want to drive a U-Haul out there, so that means I have to buy like $100,000 worth of mats.
Jesus.
And bring them out there, and no, not happening. I just want to rent some mats.
You could draw, I think, enough people, because I think they have a lot of major tournaments. I know, for basketball that's different, but like, yeah, that's an idea.
The jiu-jitsu scene in Nova Scotia is blowing up. Right. Lots of awesome schools there. Like, I know Grant's martial arts is doing really well. TJ Grant, I used to train with him at Fit Plus. They got Josh Presley out there. He's got a gym, which is doing really well. Like I said, my buddy Brad. And then they got the Halifax BJJ Society, which is probably one of the bigger schools out there now, and they're doing awesome. They opened a few years ago now, and I remember when they just had a little tiny spot and they had to expand because they blew up so quick. And jiu-jitsu out there is awesome, and like it's really high level too. Like the jiu-jitsu out there is awesome. Like
Is it more developed or more competitive than, say, Ottawa?
I don't know. I haven't trained with them in a long time, but
right.
they do, they had Titans there for a long time, which was one of the founding people of Jiu-Jitsu out in Nova Scotia, and they've been around just as long as like Ottawa Academy has been around here. Because what's his face? Peter Martel, I'm pretty sure, and what's the other guy's name? Oh, I forget his name. That's not good. It's Taylor. Kevin Taylor, I think. He's a black belt under Henzo, I'm pretty sure too. And they've been, black belts for like 20 years or something out there.
Wow.
So I'd say that the level of martial arts, the level of jiu-jitsu and MMA especially, is really high out there. Like I can't wait to go home and train with all them guys.
Right.
Because like that's where I started training, and like I was just mentioning Josh. Josh was somebody that I like looked up to. He was like a purple, brown, black belt when I was a white belt and stuff, and now he's got his own school and he's doing some cool things on Instagram and stuff like that. And I'd love to go train with those guys. I've never even been in Halifax BJJ Society, and I got a bunch of friends that train there. And that's like the places I tell people to go train when they go out east.
Would you beat all of them up?
I would try, and I'm bigger than most of them, so
okay.
I'm coming for it. No, I'm just kidding.
A few more questions, because I think I appreciate this interview. I think we're at 90 minutes, and it's a lot of fun. But I have a few more questions for you. Man. What does it mean for you to be a black belt in this sport?
It's, they say the black belt only covers 2 inches of your ass and you got to cover the rest, right? And you're not supposed to make it about the belt. But like being a black belt, to me, it was like a dream of mine, because my dad's a black belt, and like, he's got this picture of him and his instructor just standing there in their gis with their black belts on. And I always just wanted to get a picture like that with my dad. And like, so I got my black belt last year, and from Fernando, who's the head of Cicero Costa Canada. And it is a huge deal for me. Like I just, want to make my dad proud. And so I got my black belt finally, after training 17 years.
Wow.
I had a lot of ups and downs, and people kind of hold me back, and
who's holding you back? I don't need names. No, but how would they be holding you back?
I don't know. I'd ask them. I was part of a different affiliation, and I asked like, what do I need to be doing? Because I was a brown belt for like.
You were actually asking that.
Yeah, I had.
That's a great question.
Like I wanted to know. Tell me what I need to do.
Right.
To get to that level.
That's
Tell me
what
kind of person I need to be. Tell me what work ethic I have to have. And basically they said, just come to class, do as many classes as you can, and show up for the people around you. And I swear I was doing that. And then eventually they were like, I don't think I'm a good enough coach for you anymore. And they just told me to go away. And, and that was super dark time. Because I had just asked them to come teach a seminar at my gym, brand new gym. And they looked like they were promoting people and stuff like that. I wasn't asking for a promotion, but I wanted them to come, like they were my affiliation. So like, come, you're down the street, come teach, we're affiliated. Like you're my coach. Come teach a seminar at my brand new gym, and I, wore their flag on my back and competed for them, and it was awesome training, and like I learned a lot from them and stuff, and I swear I was doing everything that I could, but I guess they had different thoughts, and when they basically told me to go away, nicer words than that, but it was bullshit. Either way, they told me that they didn't feel like they were a good enough coach for me, and that I should find somebody else. And they let me go, and it was like 3 years or 4 years I felt like I wasted, because I was a brown belt when I went with them, I think.
Oh.
And I had watched somebody go from purple belt to black belt, and I was a brown belt that whole time, and I'd already been training for, 14, 15 years or something, and I thought I was doing everything they were telling me to do. Like, I really was trying to be a good person. I was trying to have the black belt mentality. I went to all the classes that I could make it to, and luckily, I got super depressed, and I didn't want to do jiu-jitsu anymore when that happened, and I felt like it was a waste of fucking time. And then I started talking to my buddy Nick, and he kind of set me straight and got me hooked up with Fernando. And Fernando's been such an excellent role model and a coach, and he's been there for our team. And when I'm not able to make it to a Toronto tournament, he's there coaching my guys. And we got Cicero Costa actually coming to my gym. Like,
I saw that on Instagram.
So Cicero Costa himself is coming to Ottawa Jiu-Jitsu June 11th. So
that's
like
awesome.
The actual guy that I've been like watching for years, I'm part of his affiliation as his team, and he actually is coming to my gym, and that's because of Fernando and stuff like that. And I'm super grateful to have the friends that I have in this community now, because I kind of know my place, and I'm still just trying to get better, and being a black belt, it just feels like it's starting all over again.
Wow.
Getting to compete at black belt has been really fun. And really challenging, because I can keep getting beat by the same fucking guys.
Who's this?
Justin Primrose, he's a monster. He's so good and fucking strong. And like,
he's a big dude, right?
Yeah.
Like, is he the same size?
He's as tall as I am.
Okay.
But I think he weighs slightly less, but that's because he's in better shape than I am. Takes probably better care of himself than I do.
Okay.
Like, I'm trying to quit smoking cigarettes. And
do you smoke?
Yeah, it's not
I
good.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
nobody probably knows too much.
Oh, do you want me to edit that piece out?
No, I don't care too much. Like, I want everybody to see me and tell me to stop smoking, because
Stop smoking, mother.
right. Yeah. But like getting to fight Justin at black belt has been awesome, because he has really good experience all over the planet, and he's done some really incredible things. And he used to be one of my main training partners, and in a jiu-jitsu sense, I look up to him because he's really good. Like,
Hey, are any of these fights on YouTube?
I don't know if any of my fights with Justin are. Maybe on his Insta. No, he doesn't really post much, but.
How did he beat you? Like, what is
I
it?
got tired, and then I got swept, and then I got choked out one of them.
Oh, wow.
One of them, I got kneed in the face right in the beginning, kind of was like knocked out a little bit, and then...
Not deliberate, obviously.
No, it was an accident.
Right.
I think I just made a mistake and like drove my fucking face into his knee. So that messed me up, and then I lost that match. I don't even actually remember that match.
Wow.
And then like afterwards there was absolutes, and I was like, can we do that? Like, are you going to do that? He was like, sure. So we fought in absolutes. I did a little bit better. I don't think he like submitted me, but like if I had a little bit better cardio, then I think I could go the distance with him and maybe pull off a win one day. Hopefully I'll get that chance again. But I gotta get in way better shape than I am. Like I'm super injured right now, and I kind of let myself go when it comes to taking care of my health. I haven't been doing that very well at all.
Me neither.
Yeah, I'm just starting to like realize the impact of what I'm doing to myself, because like last week I was really sick, and walking up the stairs I was having like an asthma attack, like a full-on asthma attack, and I haven't had anything like that since I was a kid. So my asthma is like through the roof right now.
Wow. I didn't even know you had asthma.
Yeah, and I have a really serious neck injury, which is actually getting better. Like, my neck injury is getting better.
Hallelujah.
It's probably the best thing. Like, they wanted me to get surgery where they're going to cut through the front of my neck to like fuse something in my spine, but they needed to cut through the front to get to the back. So it's like, it sounds like a decapitation, and I'm not interested in that. So I've just been doing the physiotherapy 2 or 3 times a day, every day. until it's like healed enough that I can go compete again. But I really have to like change my lifestyle up and treat my lungs way better if I'm ever gonna get to that level ever again. Because like I was fairly good when I fought Justin, but I still wasn't on his level in respects to like a cardiovascular wise, still wasn't there, because like we go 7 minutes and like by minute 7 I'm dying.
Wow.
And so I really need to, if I'm gonna get back into competing, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna treat my lungs right, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm in the best shape of my life and not kind of do it half-assed anymore, because I don't want to lose anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to get a chance to do some bigger tournaments before I'm like too old and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the timeline for this goal, if you don't mind me asking, in terms of this? Because you're saying you want to stop smoking, you want to be in the best cardiovascular shape. What were you giving yourself? 6 months, a year?
So I
9
feel
months?
like with
and protecting the neck, of course.
So with my neck, I don't think I should be doing like hard training for at least until the end of the year. And if all goes well with my rehabilitation and stuff, then I could see competition mats in 2024, which would be cool.
Bro, honestly, I'm very happy to hear that your neck is
that's the best.
You know, because I when I first met you here at your gym, more than a couple of months ago, I could tell the first few times we spoke, like, because I could tell you were in a lot of pain.
I was in so much pain. It was like 7 or 8 weeks of pain that didn't shut off. And like I've been tattooed for 9.5 hours straight. I've been hit by a car. Like
fuck?
Yeah, and like I've broken, ligaments in my knee. I've broken my ankles. None of that pain compared to not even a small percentage of the pain that I was in for that 7 or 8 weeks. And it was to the point where I couldn't sleep, so I wasn't sleeping at night either.
Yeah, I could see you were like you were in a zombie state.
I was dead, and I still had to be a human. And I, like, luckily, about week 9, the pain started to kind of fade away. But then I was left with like I couldn't feel my arm. And like I couldn't feel my hand, and
on the same side?
Yeah, on the same side.
Left or right?
Right. And
you're right-handed, obviously.
And I'm right-handed. Yeah. So I lost function of my right pec and my right tricep.
Jesus
so like
Christ.
I couldn't do a push-up anymore. Like I could barely like hold, like if I was to push myself off the couch, I'd have to obviously use my left hand because my right arm didn't work at all. So I got the function back of my right pec and my right tricep. I'm able to like actually move some weight around again, and I can feel my hand again, and the numbness and tingling I feel like it's almost 100% gone. But I still have to be really careful when I train. Like I've been rolling a little bit, what my cardio will let me, because like I said, the last couple of weeks I've been having asthma attacks. Like I did a kids class and I did a couple laps and I had to go stand outside and like catch my breath and think about going to the hospital because my breathing was so bad. So what my cardio lets me do right now, and with people that I trust, I can roll a little bit, but again, it's very minimal because I have to think about the long term. Like this is something I want to do forever. I don't want to ruin it because I'm rushing into training,
Devil's advocate.
Yeah. Do
you, with everything you've just said there, do you think you still need to compete?
I love competing. It's like it's game day. It's fun.
Absolutely. No, yeah. I don't doubt that. But, in terms of just with injuries are very, very common in this sport, right? Yep. And all these other contact, combat. Exactly, yep. Right? It's but as we get older, and I'm not saying you're old or anything like that, but you know what I'm saying? Like these injuries compound over time, and it's like, obviously, you want to be in the best form, health-wise and so on. But do you think and I'm only playing devil's advocate, do you think competition is still something to aim for?
Yeah, I have dreams of, being able to go, like one of my biggest goals has been to go and do European championships. I want to go do worlds sometime. I want to actually
in gi, no gi?
In the gi, mostly.
You
I like the gi mostly. Yeah.
Really? I thought it was the other way around.
No, I like gi more. It's more fun.
I made an assumption. I made I made a lot of assumptions and
but
clarified.
I still want to go compete at the worlds at black belt. I want to do Europeans at black belt. I want to do the Brazilians at black belt. I want to do all this stuff before I can't, and I want to do it at adult. I don't want to do masters or anything. I'm gonna do the adult.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I know, because I've been in really good shape before. I know how to do it. Right. It's just having the discipline and the courage to actually do it. And,
wow.
And those are some of my goals, and I'm thinking I'm still gonna be able to at least make a run at it. Even if it's not until 2024 or 2025, I'm gonna make sure that I'm in good enough shape where I can actually maybe win a match or two, in the black belt division at the World Championships and IBJJF. If I win one, that's the other thing is with the IBJJF at black belt, I need to get points to be even qualify for it. So that's another thing is I want to make a run at it. I want to just do it at least one time.
Do it, brother. Yeah. Do it, man. Well, why not? I could see it in your eyes. You're already, you're envisioning this. You're seeing the goal, and you're going to make it happen. Just two more questions for you. In terms of the local scene in Ottawa, what has been your best experience in the scene? In the Ottawa Jiu-Jitsu community overall? Well, actually, forget about that. What has been the best Jiu-Jitsu experience for you ever?
Man,
big question.
I think it's a couple things, but one of them being training at Marcelo Garcia's. I trained there for 6-7 months, and I got I felt like I got so much better at jiu-jitsu. I got to train with world champions on a regular basis. I experienced what no-gi was all about, because I hadn't really trained much no-gi up to that point. And I got to roll with Marcelo every couple days. And I got to roll with Bernardo Faria and Marcos Tinocos.
Did you choke all of them out?
Every one of them.
Yeah.
But I got to train with world champions on a regular basis every single day. Got feedback every single day. Everybody was so humble there, nice and welcoming, and that was amazing. I was talking about earlier too, training in Italy, they were welcoming. They were all about winning competitions and the sport side of jiu-jitsu, which I had never really experienced. In Ottawa, just the community overall. I've been welcomed at most of the gyms in Ottawa, and I can go train at open mats at all of them. I feel like I don't know how many enemies I have or whatever, and because jiu-jitsu's real political, but there's not too many gyms that I can't go to just for an open mat, and I have so much fun at them, and I have a lot of respect for all the guys that own the gyms in Ottawa. There's like I said, there's 5 or 6 just in the 5 kilometer radius of us. And Nick, he like I said, he pulled me out of a dark place, and he kind of opened up some opportunities for me as well, training with Tiago and Homolo and Dracolino and Otavio Souza as well. Just the Ottawa Jiu-Jitsu community, Ottawa loves Jiu-Jitsu. And everybody that I've had the chance to train with, I've got to learn a little bit from, and I really just like the scene here. like the level of jiu-jitsu in Ottawa is some of the best. It has to be like some of the best in Canada. And I'm just really grateful that, you know, I have a gym in that community. And it's just the experience of being a jiu-jitsu person in the Ottawa jiu-jitsu community has just been really humbling and really eye-opening, and I've learned a lot. Like you know, I was saying these coaches, they kind of left me out to dry or whatever, but I learned a lot from them. You know, they helped me kind of get back on track because I didn't have a coach for years.
Wow.
Like I had to learn everything myself, and I was teaching.
What, while you were here?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't really have a coach because I started teaching when I moved here.
Right.
I was like beating up the instructors, so they weren't really teaching me anything. But having
what an interesting, you know, journey, and it's always fascinating. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just rambling.
No, it's always cool to hear, you know, people's journey in the sport or in life in general. You know, the paths they take and the opportunities that come and that are created or whatever. Last question for you. Obviously, you know, you teach all sorts of you teach all sorts of people with different levels of skills in the sport. What's the best advice you give to a beginner who's watching this, and let's say they want to train jiu-jitsu, they want to, you know what I mean, they want to step on the mat, they want to learn. What would you give them as your form of advice, as someone who's been at this for 18 years now, and you've experienced all sorts of things in the sport, both in training and competition and so on? What's the best piece of advice you'd give?
I think the best piece of advice, it kind of keeps coming back to it, is like, jiu-jitsu is not a sprint by any means. It's a marathon. It's something that you can do for the rest of your life. And if you treat it like a marathon rather than a sprint, then you're going to be able to do it for the rest of your life. And if you really want to get better at it, and you really want to excel, there's always gonna, like we were talking about earlier, there's a gym for you, right? There's all sorts of different personalities and the coaches and stuff like that, and find a gym that you like and treat jiu-jitsu like it's a long game. Because you know, you're gonna get injured, you're gonna have these plateaus where you feel like you're not learning anything because you're in a room full of people learning all the same stuff. But it's a long game. Don't treat it like you need to fucking win every role in the gym. Treat it like you need to learn every role in the gym. Treat it like, you know, you want to do this 20 years from now, you know, and don't take it too seriously. Like, obviously, like if you're a competitor or whatever, you're going to take it seriously, but even those guys need breaks, and even those guys have to take time off because of injuries and stuff. So it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Right on. Thank you very much for your time.
Anytime.
We've been speaking here for almost 2 hours. It's been a lot of fun, man. Thank you.
Man. Appreciate it.
Cheers.